Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me at this time. My name is Shavi Zane, and I'm coming on to bring a message for the chosen. If you find that this resonates with you in any way, please be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and let us know how it resonates with your circumstance. So, chosen, I want to hear your opinion on this one. You know, Terrence Howard has been coming out bringing forth a lot of very complex notions and, some might even say truths. It depends on how deep you are into cosmic theories and numbers. You would really have to know the language. It's a very complex topic, but if you're well read and well studied into these things, then you might find that a lot of what he's speaking is highly intellectual and very intimidating for some who have this notion that a specific group of people have discovered the truth, right? The powers that were. They have the truth and they're the only ones who possess it. That's what the Matrix, the system, wants you to believe. But here comes Terrence Howard, who is a known actor for many, many years, who has literally walked away from his career as an actor to focus on his purpose. A purpose that he has already stated he's had for many years, but he didn't pursue it because he wanted to please his mother at the time. Now, Terrence Howard has come out and said a lot of things that is bringing a whole lot of controversy, and it's the topic of discussion on many networks and households, but he has a lot of evidence to back up what he's saying when it comes to the patents that he's been able to create. He's created 97 patents. And one of the patents I noticed in one of his videos, he was saying that there have been very big name companies who have made billions of dollars off of his patent, but they haven't given him any recognition or financial compensation for it. So that does speak to the validity of his claims. One thing that we know as the chosen seed is that here in the age of Aquarius, a lot of us will come to that space where the matrix is no longer making sense. The matrix is broken, okay? In our experience here as a spirit having a human experience, none of the stuff, most of the things that these beings have presented to us no longer makes sense. And we begin to question it all. Not only do we question it all, but we also begin to experience supernatural experiences that most common people are not able to comprehend. And so what happens is when you start to express these experiences and you speak openly about it, you automatically get labeled as crazy, a quack, someone who's on drugs, someone who is having psychosis of some sort. There's all types of names that you get called here in the age of Aquarius, and that is the true definition of Christ consciousness, right? Because we're talking about enlightened beings that are now awakening, who's bringing us a particular truth that goes against societal norms. And even in biblical texts, I don't necessarily adhere to biblical text from a standpoint of it's all the word of the Most High, but it is messages there that gives you some clarity about some things. And so when you speak on Christ and his coming forth and bringing his messages and his wisdom and how he was talked about, how he was laughed at, how he was mocked and scoffed and ultimately sacrificed, it's the same theme that's happening today in the age of Aquarius for the Christ consciousness, the chosen who are now awakening. We're bringing forth truths that powers that were wanted to keep suppressed. They wanted us to keep these things suppressed within us out of fear that we will be judged, out of fear that we will be mocked and talked about. But because we've healed from fear, because we've healed from unhealthy judgment of self, because we've healed from codependency on other people and this need to have approval by the world, then now we come forward with truths that is automatically being labeled crazy. If you recall, there was a scientist by the name of Nikola Tesla. Many of you all are hearing that name a lot nowadays because you have the Tesla vehicles and, a lot of things that's fashioned behind Tesla's theories. But when Nikola Tesla was actively doing his work, he was in very strong composition with Edison. And most people did not want to hear what Nikola Tesla had to say back then because they gave Edison all of the accolades for anything pertaining to electricity and things of that nature. And not saying that these two men are the first two people to discover these things because, we've known a lot of these things about the world, the cosmos, electricity for hundreds of thousands of years. It's been, etched into the pyramids and many other places across the globe to solidify that these things were not just discovered by Edison and Tesla, okay? However, historically, this is what they want the world to believe. And so when Tesla was doing his work, he had a lot of phobias, right? OCD phobias. And he was very obsessed with numbers. It's said that he always wore white gloves and rarely shook others' hands because of progressive germ phobia. He never stayed in hotel rooms or floors whose number was divisible by 3. And he feared pearl earrings worn by women and insisted on large numbers of napkins at meals which he used meticulously to polish his silverware. So that was just a few of the things that stood out about Tesla, where people, looked at him as if he was crazy and, called him a quack and things like that. And it's no different than many of the herbalists who had real cures for disease and were labeled as quacks. That's where that term came from, because the Western medical industry needed you to believe that chemicals was the way to go. Why? Because it is a multi-trillion-dollar industry. And so anytime you get something from the earth and you're able to cure someone, then that's when you can't monetize it. And so what they do is they take a little bit of the herbs and then they take a whole bunch of chemicals, they package them up, and now they can monetize it because it took more effort to create that. But ultimately, these are the things that have occurred over history where it proves to you that the powers that were are always labeling those people who have brilliant ideas, high intellect, who are discovering things that are outside of their matrix that could actually debunk their theories and put their dollar to rest. They are going to label you as crazy automatically. Many of the chosen seed out there, you will discover highly, highly complex, intellectual theories and, discoveries, and you're going to bring these things forward. Why? Because you're able to tap in to higher level information. You're able to receive spiritual downloads, just like George Washington Carver, right? George Washington Carver was an absolute genius. And I wouldn't even say he was ahead of his time, because what he was doing is he was tapping into ancient practices. He was able to discover hundreds of different patents or different ways of working with plants, because he understood how to communicate with plants. He understood that plants were alive and that they communicate, they have life. And he admitted to the fact that he would talk to plants and that plants would talk to him. He understood the language of plants, and they would tell him, this is what I'm used for. This is, what I can do to cure and things like that. George Washington Carver had a clear understanding that nature is very much so alive. And he was not ashamed to express that. But of course, at that time, you best believe there was people that called him crazy. And now many of his inventions are used every single day, and they will always be used because they were genius inventions. And so All of this comes back around full circle just to show you that anytime you step outside of the box and you openly express supernatural experiences that bring you clarity about how life works, about, you know, cures and, things that completely debunk what the powers that were have told the world, people are going to call you crazy. They're going to call you every name except a child of the Most High Mother and Father. You can already anticipate it. But really, it's a compliment, because what happens is later on, when everybody else catches up, because that's all it is, folks are just behind because they're blinded to the illusions of the matrix. When everybody else wakes up and catches up, then they'll realize, like, wow, what you said was true. They start to see that, the things that you were doing, they do now make sense. Walking outside barefoot, oh, yes, it does make sense now. Hugging trees, oh, I get it. They do have life. Listening to the birds and, allowing them to bring you messages, oh, that does make sense. Sun gazing and moon gazing, oh, I get it now. Okay, cleansing your energy in the ocean, like, it's so many different things that we are discovering or rediscovering here in the age of Aquarius and coming into remembrance of on deep levels. For some people like Terrence Howard, he's receiving some massive downloads that's shaking up the entire system. And please understand that it does stretch a little bit further beyond the fact that he's awakened. The fact that he's a melanated man also plays a role in the powers that were, them not wanting to really accept his theories, okay? Because what would ultimately happen is they would later on come back and say, oh, Terrence Howard discovered XYZ long after he's gone. And they'll be using those things, or they'll take it and put another face on it. They'll put another face on it that's a little bit more friendly to the matrix, right? Right? Somebody that has lighter skin, lighter eyes, a different hair texture. And they'll say, oh, that person discovered it after they have studied what Terrence Howard has brought forward. This is what the Matrix does. This is what the powers that were have done for many, many years. But now that we're in the age of Aquarius, the truth has to be revealed. And this is why Terrence Howard has been so meticulous in patenting everything that he is discovering, because he's protecting his discoveries. He understands the importance of that because he knows the type of system that we are dealing with here. But just know, chosen, that you will receive a lot of massive spiritual downloads that will shake up the world, that will change society. And I don't care how off the wall it might seem. I don't care how, judgmental people may become when you bring these things forward. Still bring them forward, because we are in a new age, and everything that the powers that were have brought forward, most of those things are outdated. Okay? They're outdated. And it's a time to establish the new. And so what might have been called crazy in the past will now become the norm. Supernatural experience will now become the norm. Having gifts that go beyond man's understanding, or things that people cannot necessarily articulate with scientific evidence, now becomes the norm. And so you now become the norm because you set the standard, chosen. You set the standard. So that's my message for you all. If you have anything to add to this, please be sure to leave a comment below. I would love to hear what you all have to say specifically about Terrence Howard, his theories, and how people are responding to it. So that's my message. I love you, and I'll talk to you all next time.